Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt. Welcome back to Farlands or Bust, episode 649. I had to double check. Episode 649. We're going to let this bundle of cobblestone rest on the bed and continue on. We got places to go. Snow to be walked on here in Farlands or Bust. Hidey holes to be secured. Wolfies to be grabbed. Like I said, episode 649. I have a lot of stuff in my inventory, don't I? It's these extra wooden planks that are really harshen my chill, man. But yeah, let's just continue west, why don't we? On Saturday, July 29th, 2017. My goodness, my friends, my goodness. It's gonna take forever to get to the far lands at this pace. Ah, geez. Like I mentioned in the last episode, on a medication that I thought I was out of the woods with. The first week or so really hit me with the fatigue. I just like saying that word, fatigue. And it lasts about a week, and I'm like, oh, okay. Maybe I feel like it's kind of subsided. I'm starting to feel back like my normal self. And then yesterday, nope. Nope. It's a backhoe with a vengeance. And today, even, as I was setting up, I'm recording this on Friday, as I was setting up to record, just woof. Absolutely. Like hitting a wall of molasses. if you know what I'm talking about, and I'm sure you do. Everybody in their life at one point or another encounters walls of molasses, molassi. So, just like pulls the wind and energy out of you. I guess that is what fatigue is, after all. But it's weird not being like related to, oh, I just hiked for 6 miles or whatever. It's just your body's like, nope, you're done. You're done. It's not doing anything else. So yeah. Sorry, kind of, for the unpredictable nature of these Farlands or Bust episodes. They're getting good views. Perhaps because they're up for a while and people actually watch them, as opposed to certainly releasing an episode every 2 days. Perhaps X amount of audience members only watch one YouTube video a week. They'll only watch one of those, and all those views will be distributed. I don't know. I'm not a YouTube expert. I've only been doing this for 6 years. How dare you assume I know what I'm doing and what people want. But yeah. That's alright. We're still making progress. We're still getting to the far lands. I am curious, though. I have noticed and perhaps this is algorithm related, perhaps this is the weekly release related. Look at that brown sheep. You don't see many brown sheep. Almost as rare as the pink sheep, but brown. Ooh, that's a wow! I almost hit an iceberg there. I was wondering, I have been seeing comments in these videos of people being like, oh, I remember I used to... That's the voices that I think you guys have, by the way. I used to watch this all the time. I can't believe you're still walking to the Farlands after all this time. That's crazy. I'm curious, if that's you, if you are one of those people who, whether or not... Oh, another brown sheep. All right, maybe not as elusive as I once anticipated. If you're one of those people who perhaps hasn't watched anything other than Farlands or Bust on my channel, and or hasn't watched anything in many years, how did you re-find the channel? What was the series of events that led you back to watch an episode of Farlands or Bust if you hadn't watched in a long time, or since I was beginning, or oh, I heard about you. You know, was it a recommended video? Maybe did you see like the Guinness World Records video that has like 2 million views now, and then it directed you here? I do know, and I have seen that there is another Minecraft YouTuber of perhaps higher popularity than me, who has started her own series about walking to the far lands. But they're cheating. They're doing it in the current version, and it's modded and command blocks and stuff. I don't think they're anticipating doing this for 649 episodes. So I think perhaps the search term Farlands might be bringing some people back who maybe watch that channel now, who once watched my channel, and they're like, oh yeah, that guy. So that's possible. But I'm just curious, if you want, you don't like need to answer, but if you are one of these fine individuals who have found their way back here, A, welcome back, and B, where did you come from? What brought you here? Upon which winds did the seas find you upon these shores? and are all these really weird analogies driving you away once again? But yeah, that's always interesting to see. It's stuff that, sure, there's a whole bunch of YouTube analytics, but nobody knows what they mean. Oh, this is happening. These are declining. This is your demographics. I don't know what to do with that information. That's information that's far more probably interesting for advertisers to know or something like that. But I can't use that to focus my own content, and I'm not going to either. I would rather do what I want to do. And right now, it's walking to the Farlands. Woo! This boat. Oh, yay, more planks. Whoa, spoilers. So yeah, anyway, that just looking over the comments from the last episode and even previous episodes, that just piques my interest as to be like, I mean, I understand everybody isn't going to maintain the same interests for 6 years in a row, but I'm just curious what brings them back. What brings them back? And I'm sure maybe they just come back for like one episode, leave a comment, and then haven't returned again. So I'm asking this just into the ether. But yeah, anyway, that's interesting. Anyway, just thought I'd bring that up. Ooh. I have started running out of questions, which is why I'm going on and on about this. I have started running out of questions. I'm on my last block of questions left over from the last season's charity fundraiser and FLOBathon. So I'm starting to worry about what I'm going to do after this. That's neat. That's quite neat indeed. Let's try to go up this river, maybe. But one of them, a lot of them are anonymous. I left a lot of the anonymous ones for later. This one, anonymous. Have you ever heard of the Mandela effect? Do you believe in it? I didn't know what it was based on that name off the top of my head, so I looked it up for once of a question. The Mandela effect is like a shared mismemory that people believe indicates that there are multiple universes that are crossing over, multiple timelines even perhaps. The most famous of which is the Bernstein or Berenstain Bears, where everybody from my generation swears that they read the books called the Bernstein's Bears. Children's books. But now looking at the covers, it's spelled differently. It's not Bernstein, it's Bernstein, S-T-A-I-N, as opposed to E-I-N. And people freak out, and they're like, I swear it was Bernstein, blah, 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 but everything is saying, and that's two people, that's like, oh, it must be because those are two universes colliding. And in one of the universes, it was Bernstein versus Bernstein. And these sort of things have, I don't know the source of the term or the theory, but it seems to have increased with internet culture, as it's easy to either fake such a thing, or it's easy to share such a thing. So you almost, oh, it's a shared memory, but it's only a shared memory once it's been shared, right? You know, like, you've never thought about the Bernstein Bears before you saw the image. And perhaps it's such a trivial thing. I don't know that anybody was a diehard, hardcore Bernstein Bears fan. Bears fan? Football? Yeah, it's such a... Usually small things. It's not like, oh, I thought this person was president. You know, like, nobody's gonna misremember that. It's usually the small, kind of innocuous things, like, also, like, I swear, Sinbad was in a movie called Shazam. But you're really just misremembering Shaq's basketball genie movie or something like that. Well, let's go to sleep. And continue in the morning. And awakeness. Oh, I'm gonna hurt myself. Whoop, got it right. So yeah, I don't know if I believe in it or if I have experienced it myself, really. It's just one of those things. It's like chain letters or these new things where on Twitter or Tumblr is like, here's a picture of a dog. This is the money dog. If you retweet this, you're going to come into financial money. And then people reply, it worked for me. I retweeted it and then I got a raise, you know, or something like that. It's fun to think about or whatever, but it's there's no validity to it or anything like that. And it's certainly not proof that we're living in a simulation or proof that there's multiple universes or timelines or things like that. Like, oh, at the Oscars, they read the wrong Best Picture. In the other universe, that did win Best Picture. That's why the lines are crossing. Goofy fun, but I wouldn't base any decision making on it, that's for sure. Let's see here. Is there anything from the version of the game after beta 1.7.3 that you would like to have or would be useful in your FLOB world? This is a question I've been asked a lot. And that's perhaps why I waited so long to answer it, because I probably recently answered it when I first got this back in Season 6. I don't know. I don't think so. The combat. No, people ask if, like, the hunger would probably impede my progress. Having to find and maintain food and eat a lot of food. Like, this wheat, I don't eat much of it. It's not, you know, I can't fathom how often I would have to eat with the hunger mechanic. Yeah, I don't know. Probably like enchantments, maybe, to be more protected, as opposed to just having this iron armor. Would be interesting, like Frostwalker boots, so I could just walk across the water instead of boat, even though boating is faster, so maybe that would be bad. Yeah, I don't think, I mean, certainly I think I've mentioned that, yeah, maybe having like the structures, villages and things, signs of life, signs of civilization every once in a while would be interesting, and that's why we get so excited about finding spawners and stuff. There's something different than just the continual land that we are walking over. But even that, it's at this point, beta 1.7.3, which is this version that we're walking in, is such a, it's like not even the same game that Minecraft, it's not, even further, they're changing all the textures in the next update. It's going to be even further from the modern game of Minecraft, that it is like playing a different game, and there's kind of a nostalgic sort of attraction based on that for the series, I think, at least for me, and I know for some people. Certainly the jittering is interesting and unique, but I know we can do without that. People are probably pretty sick of that. I'm all right with it, though. It's not so bad. It's not so noticeable. I think it's more noticeable on video that's been recorded at 60 frames per second. I'm getting more than 60 frames per second just playing this, so it's not as apparent to me. I'm also just staring off into the distance. I know it's a little bit more difficult when you're watching on a screen that the FOV doesn't feel as tight. Or I think it might also be because you're not in control of the camera. Like, I know that I'm going to look this way and it's going to look weird and jittery for a while. Okay, I'm done. You know, I have control over this. You must bend to my will. But yeah, I don't think there's much beyond having maybe just interesting villages or structures or castles, not castles, you know what I mean? Pyramids, you know, those sort of things. It would probably slow me down even more because I'd want to stop and check them all out and talk to all the villagers. But oh, look at this! Look at this fancy little plains, little vista upon which we will walk. Xavier Penguin asked, what are the top 3 most memorable moments during your travels to the far lands? Well, check out the playlist for the Far Lands of Must flashbacks. Those are all the memorable moments that I can think of, and I know I haven't made one of those in a long time. Cone actually suggested one a while ago, I just never got around to it, and then I moved across the country. Yeah, I should probably take some time to make some of those. But certainly the going to the Nether, that was just one of those things that worked out in a very dramatic fashion, unplanned and unscripted, obviously. That was an enjoyable episode to play and record. The whole losing Wolfie thing was fun to make. It sucked in the moment that we lost Wolfie during that Flobathon to the glitch, but then being able to flip that and in more scripted fashion invoke the hidey hole paradox to bring him back, that was kind of like one of the only times Far Lands or Bust had like a specific narrative. And I'm not interested in making narratives. And I'm not particularly, I don't think because I'm particularly skilled at it, but that chance that I did get to have, and at the time it was worth it to spend so much time on one episode, to do all the edits and the flybys and the special effects with the TARDIS and stuff like that. That was pretty fun. And then it's not even, it's speaking of altering timelines, it's not even on the Far Lands of Bust timeline, but we went back for a special episode, like the 100,000 subscriber special or something, there was some milestone we reached. And I went back and explored the dark and magical pit of Bottomless Destiny, which was a cool structure or thing that we passed by in Far Lands or Bust. But then as a special episode, I went back, I invoked the hidey hole paradox with the TARDIS or whatever. I went back and we actually went down and explored it, and that was another thing, that everything that went wrong, except it went right. It went entertainingly wrong. That was fun. That was fun. Oh, but then, of course, I'm thinking of all the other sort of things, like finding the rollover point of the floating point that we found, that I had to walk back and do experiments in. That was fun. That was cool. That was kind of crazy. One of the very uniquely Far Lands experiences that we can have with the series that nobody else, I think, has had, that I've seen anyway. Finding the floating point boundary. You know, stuff like that. But yeah. Thanks for that question. And then somebody else, anonymously, asked, what is your best FLOB moment of this season? Probably asked during Flobathon. Probably asked about Season 6. Season 6 was a long one. It's difficult to remember everything that happened in Season 6, especially now, many months after the fact. What happened in Season 6? Didn't we? What did we do? What did we do in season 6, my friends? Woof. Wolfie remembers. I honestly don't remember what was going on in season 6. I can't remember. Trying to remember anything like neat or interesting. I'm sure there were things. I am, how's my... I could use some more wool. Those guys are a little bit out of reach. Is this... Okay. I forgot what day it was. I have one more elevated hidey hole, and then it's a full episode. Yeah, I can't think. Maybe for those of you who still have memories and are not fatigued out of their minds, in the comments below, what were your favorite season 6 memories, moments, memorable and whatnot? Whoop. Let's see here. Huh. A lot of snow today. We're walking past the poles, the Arctic Circle. One of the many Arctic circles on this non-spherical planet we're on. Whoops. Woof. Boop. Pop. Beep. And asleep. And awakeness. Woof indeed. That same anonymous person asked, what was your bravest moment mentally or physically in the year 2016? Ooh. Well, there's a lot going on, much of which I won't be discussing. Yeah, that's a real tough nugget to try to crack. I mean, certainly it didn't happen in 2016. It feels like it did, but moving from Arizona to Seattle. See, I don't feel like that was a strong moment. I feel like that was a very weak moment. Like, it almost didn't happen. It almost didn't work. I almost didn't make it. But I did, so does that mean I had the strength? It didn't feel like it, and it still doesn't feel like it. But that's a big matzo ball you're asking right there. Of anybody, regardless of what you may have gone through in 2016 or any year or month or whatever, to ask somebody, when were you the most brave the past year? In the past 12 months, when was your strongest moment? What is this, in a job interview? Where are you going to be in 5 years? I don't know. Earth? Probably. That's probably going to be the case. So yeah, bad answer to that question, but it was there, so I asked it. Krogan, very sort of similar question. Have you ever had an impactful moment or event in your life that you could trace back to watching a YouTube video or other similarly minor thing? Hey now, who's calling YouTube minor things? Krogan. You. I have my shears out. Yeah, these are real weird, I won't say weird, tough questions to answer. They're very open to interpretation, depending on how deep you want to take them. I mean, there are a lot of, like, videos, educational videos, inspirational videos that are, like, I found interesting or thought-provoking and things like that. But I can't say that, like, anything specific has led from them or been a result of watching a YouTube video, right? Like, that's tough to say. There was somebody, I don't think he's making YouTube videos anymore, Zfrank, or Zfrank, was a very early YouTuber. And even when I started YouTube, was still making some videos. It was pretty much just him talking to the camera. But he always talked about some very interesting philosophical, sort of emotional or you know, those sort of motivationally charged videos that I always liked, and I always thought were pretty thought-provoking and funny. He was very funny, too. And I'm sure there are other YouTubers of the sort currently. You know, same thing with, like, the Vlog Brothers and things like that. But no, I can't, like, trace a singular thing to a singular YouTube video or anything like that. Woof! Neither can Wolfie. The hidey hole paradox messed him up. It's crazy, meeting himself. It's weird. Different timelines, Mandela effects and things. The spooky noises. Alright, let's get rid of some of these. Whoop, that's not how you make a boat. Beep, beep, beep. Whoa, Wolfie, he got punched. Boop. Where's the sun? There it is. Onwards! This is reminding me a lot of, on stream we played Salt, a video game called Salt. There's a lot of sailing in it. It's like I'm not sure it quite knows what it is, but it's like a it's like, I wanted to play it because it seemed kind of walking simulator-y, but it's a little bit more survival-y. Even RPG-ish. There's like quests and stuff you can go on, but pirate-based. And you have a raft that you can sail around the open seas. And the thing I didn't like about it is that you had to draw your own map. Like, you had a map, but you had to draw it yourself. Like, you had to place, like, oh, here's where an island is, and you could only know where here is. You can only get the coordinates of the map, like north 3, west 27. You can only get the coordinates of the map if you had a sextant. And then once you have the sextant, you have to draw the map yourself. I'm like, oh, geez, that's a bit overbearing, isn't it, in this huge world? Seems almost endless and procedurally generated. It was an interesting game. I wish the pacing was better. It, I suppose the leveling up just takes a long time. Like, oh, you're supposed to collect... Oh, you want to build a new, faster boat? Well, you gotta collect 47 planks of wood. You can't chop down trees. You have to actually find logs just on the ground. And sometimes entire islands only have 2 logs. So that's gonna take you a while. So I think my issue with that game came down to the pacing. And it seemed somewhat directionless. Although there were quite a few people who were very big fans of the game. It's been in development and released, like, for a couple of years. It's been out in early access, and there were people coming into chat who's like, oh, I love this game, I played this game, blah, 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 127 hours or something like that, and it, I could certainly see it having that potential. No multiplayer or anything, but just didn't quite tickle my fancy. I was finding it difficult to keep it interesting for stream and myself. In case anybody has been not been keeping up with the streams, I did play Salt once. We played Salt once. Somebody else asked, do I still have my Google Fi phone plan? I do indeed. And it's been fine. Google Fine. It's I think it's hard to say. The actual cell phone reception ain't that great, specifically in buildings. I haven't... The thing it's been best for is for travel or conventions, because they don't throttle the network. You just pay for the gigabytes that you use or whatever. So it's been good for that, to not have to worry about data when you're oot and a boot. But the actual phone, like the people I talk to are mainly my parents calling home and stuff like that, and I keep having problems where like it'll just cut for like 10 seconds and I'll miss what somebody is saying, and I don't know if that's related. Look at this tower. It's probably related to the fact that it can switch between cell phone signal and then also Wi-Fi calling. And I know there's definitely certain places in my house where it just is no good and very difficult to predict. But then again, I don't talk on the phone that much, so it's not that big a deal to me. I have otherwise been happy, and it's otherwise been much more affordable than plans that I've seen from the big cell phone services. I'm just using the Google 5X, the Nexus 5X. I don't see any need to upgrade to a Pixel or anything. I don't use the phone for, I mean, Instagram, and I have my hiking software that tracks my hiking stuff on there, but I don't play games. I don't watch videos or movies. The kind of the most use I've got out of it recently is I connect it to the Bluetooth in my car, and then I use the Google Android Auto as kind of my dash accompaniment, and certainly navigation, which is how that's been most useful. That's kind of the most cell phone way I use the smartphone part of it. Otherwise, it's just occasional text or instant message, or if I'm out, check Twitter or post on Instagram or whatever. Beyond that, I don't do much. I don't do much smartphoning on my smartphone. But yeah, I've been all right with the Google Fi. No plans or interest in changing that up anytime soon. Indeed. And that is going to wrap up this episode. Let's do it right there. Let's get Wolfie over here. Dig the end of the episode hidey hole. And once again, I appreciate you spending time with me here today on episode 649 of Far Lands or Bust. I hope you enjoyed. Woof indeed. I'll be watching the comments to see if my questions about certain things get answered that I asked throughout the episode. Things about where did you come from? How did you re-find the channel? What's going on? And others. Well, I asked something else too, didn't I? What did I ask? I asked something else, and I can't remember what I asked. You know, you'll remind me. Dirt. Boop, boop. And workbench. Boop. Up, 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 up. So yeah, I do appreciate it. Thanks so much for hanging out. Be sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed. That always helps. Reduces the amount of people who come back and are like, oh, I had no idea you're still doing this. You can keep up with this fancy little subscribe feature YouTube has. Sometimes it works. And perhaps on Twitter. I'm on the Twitters and the Twitches. Been keeping up with the live streams. But even that has been impacted by this fatigue that I like to talk about. But yeah, I appreciate it. Regardless, everybody, thank you so much for watching. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time. Where did you come from?